All right, so we're here in Bangkok, Thailand, and there's these miners' meetings going on at the moment. We've just caught Craig Wright here outside the meeting, and well, thanks for coming on, but we want to know the inside intel, what's going on inside there.
Basically, we have a rehash of core, except this time it's ABC. They don't have the hash power, so they're going to try and scare people. That worked in the past because we had proof of social media. Because the way Bitcoin used to work was lots and lots of little tiny miners would be sort of, well, made to move through fear and uncertainty from one pool to another. Now, we have enough between a few groups who are in agreement to have enough hash power to have 50% anyway, so that doesn't work anymore. Now it's corporatizing, now it's going the way Bitcoin should.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think most of us here are all for bigger blocks, and there's now a group of people trying to prevent us from going to these higher levels. And yeah, it feels like Bitcoin Core Blockstream once again, but this time they just want to keep it at 32 megabytes.
And fork and split again, which is Jihan's whole modus operandi.
Yeah.
He just wants to have many, many coins competing. He doesn't want global money. He just wants, like Hypo's exchange, to have lots of little shit coins that people can gamble on because they get a cut of everything that happens.
And you've said before that basically last year you were preparing to shut down this SegWit thing with hash power, and basically once Jihan was aware of this, he made moves to split Bitcoin into BTC and Bitcoin Cash now.
Yes, what people don't realize is Jihan and I had a meeting in one of the conferences, and we told him about our plan. This was before ABC was announced. We were going to bring out a pool. I've got one just starting now. We're taking registrations. That's SV Pool.
Yeah, I saw that last night.
So that's not N-Chain. That's my personal pool that will be running, funded, all the rest. Won't be a charity, but it'll be very low, so we're going to outcompete everyone looking at the long-term earnings.
Well, if that's really their goal, then I would be backing such a move because I'm maximalist for Bitcoin. I don't really want any other shitcoins to be around here.
Well, our answer there, to interrupt, is very simple. We're not going to allow any split. So people get this confused. There was no fork of Bitcoin, there was a split. And that was intentional. The way that it was done was wrong. They put in replay protection and whatever else to make it separate and keep things separate. We're not allowing that. If someone tries to do that with ABC, we have more hash power. We will dedicate it to their hash power. There is no split. You split, we bankrupt you. This is how Bitcoin works. If you don't like it, stiff.
Sounds really good. Basically, I'm pretty happy that someone's come along now and is being hard with these people. And
well, it's actually good business sense for us too. I mean, one, in 2 years' time, we're going to have a scenario, if we don't start now, where we're going to hit a wall. We need lots and lots of transactions very quickly. And we're not going to do that without a stable protocol that businesses are going to trust. And that means stabilizing now. And two, even if we only have 60% of the hash power come November, which I believe we'll have more, then we have an interesting scenario where we flip off 40%, they earn nothing, we grab basically the entire sort of blocks because they're not mining large blocks anymore, and that allows us to actually get sort of with 60% of the nodes, 100% of the profit, or a 67% profit gain. So I'm very happy to have people join our pool and be nearly 70% more profitable than they are on the pre-existing Bitcoin just by supporting bigger blocks.
Yeah. Well, going back to this roadmap that you've talked about where we're going to go to 128 and then even higher after that in the next hard forks, I kind of get the feeling that you're pushing very hard for this because you're going to start enforcing some patents soon, and there's going to be refugees, so to speak, coming over to Bitcoin Cash, and we need the capacity in order to support these people.
There are no patents on Bitcoin Cash. On the base protocol, no patents. There may be patents that people haven't realized on things like wormhole, but that will be fun for them to learn.
Yeah, but
the base protocol in Bitcoin Cash is unpatentable.
Yeah, but for other cryptocurrencies who are developing certain things that you've patented.
Well, that would be their problem, wouldn't it?
Well,
that's the problem when you jump into this. People don't realize they talk about the internet not being patented. I tweeted out this morning, for instance, SendMail has 2 patents. They've now been sold to Pipermail or whatever else. But the open source SendMail product in Linux is patented. That's how they separated commercial versus non-commercial. So the interesting thing, people sit there saying the internet, it's not patented. Actually, there's more than 50,000 patents around the internet protocol. So,
I want to know a bit more about this stuff that ABC is pushing for, like the canonical transaction ordering. Why are they pushing so hard for that? Is it because, and also we see Bitmain is supporting this kind of stuff, and they're all pushing for the smaller block mining times as well. How does that benefit them by backing this?
Wormhole, more coin flipping, more exchange crap, basically more illegal ICOs, which they are, and I'll get into that in a second, but more of this idea of promoting lots of little divisive, diversified coins that have no real value. Now, what they want to do is reduce the block time, because they've based their wormhole protocol, which is the only way to put it is crap, on Omni. Now, there's a reason to burn because it's parasitic. You don't want to support Bitcoin Cash, you want to suck the value out of it and do the other. And what Wormhole is about is doing that, but to do it, it's really vulnerable to reorgs. So to actually make it work long term, you need to reduce the orphan rate, you need to make miners basically align with one another, so pre-consensus or weak blocks or any of these sort of things work. You don't want a competitive system like Bitcoin where if miners compete on a block and an orphan occurs, all your Omni stuff is now trashed, and it can really upset Wormhole.
Well, I'm not sure what the deal entirely is with that, but there are new tokenization things coming for Bitcoin Cash.
Oh, there's several.
It's going to be obsoleting this one by the sounds of things.
Clemens Lay has got the first sort of beta version of his own, which is different to, there's another one in Australia that we're backing as well. All of these, though, are proper layer 2 solutions. So there's a difference between layer 2 and layer 0. Lightning and Wormhole are layer 0. They're parasitic. They sit above the protocol. They're outside. They're like IPX and IP. They're completely separate protocols, one trying to suck the life out of the other. It's like a vampire. On the other hand, a layer 2 protocol actually sits inside. So when you talk about IP and TCP, so going into layer 2, layer 3, whatever else, the TCP packet is encapsulated inside IP, and HTTP is encapsulated within TCP. So that's the way layered protocols work. They're encapsulated. So to have an encapsulated protocol, it needs to be built using script. Not we save a bit into op return and we don't care what we have underneath, which is Wormhole, but actually using Bitcoin script and actually paying the miners more to have a larger transaction.
What other exciting things are happening over there at N-Chain at the moment that we can expect to see soon?
We've got some big announcements coming in November, but I'm not going to go into exactly what they are yet.
Well, we'll probably hear more about it then at the CoinGeek.
You're definitely going to hear a lot about it at the CoinGeek conference. No, we've got lots of good developments. Some of the companies that are part of our sort of investment portfolio now, like hand cash, bringing out some good things. I'm sure you've seen them. They've got Pop
hand
now.
cash is great.
Massively simple. The little interface for double spends is nice and simple there. A nice little red flashy thing to make people understand how easy it is to detect. So.
Well, yeah, that stuff is all great. I think definitely I'm all in favor of doing what you're doing here with keeping Bitcoin as original as it can be, and it needs to be untouched so that these people like Handcash can come along and build these things on top of that.
So it's really amazing to me right at the moment that we're going through all the same arguments, rehashed over and over. I mean, way back, there was op block height was proposed. And Mike Hearn and Satoshi spoke, and then there was a big argument, and Blue Matt and Thamos all came up and said, yeah, we can see the problem. We concede that it's an attack vector. It could split the chain. We won't go down adding external state, including time, because we can do it with n-lock time, yada, yada, yada. Then lightning happens, and suddenly, we'll call it CLTV, and it's really just op block time, rehashed, but hey, we'll just push it through anyway. And this is what we're seeing again. No one thinks about the consequences, even when they do. Bugger it, we're devs, we know best.
Yeah, it seems that way, really. But I think, they should be focusing on building these other applications on top of it instead of tinkering with Bitcoin itself.
Yeah, and that's what a decent dev would do, not wanting to make it better for people in their garage, making scalable apps, things that actually will drive adoption towards Bitcoin. That's what people need to be starting to do.
Well, I've heard that in China, like obviously scanning things with QR codes and WeChat, it's really massive there. And the issue that they're having in China, Jihan is experiencing this, and I think basically because WeChat works so well, and these people don't really have any kind of incentive to go and move to something like Bitcoin Cash just now. And I think that's why they appear to be pushing very hard for this kind of wormhole and smart contracts.
That's a load of crap. Quite simply, the whole thing is no one's developed nice, simple, easy to use applications. And Jihan doesn't make his money from mining. He makes it from selling hardware and pools, and Hypo and him make it from exchanges, and they don't exchange Bitcoin for fiat like an exchange should. They exchange coin for coin, and it's a gambling market, an unregistered, unlicensed gambling market.
Yep. And they've got... let's talk about this USDT thing, because I feel like that is really manipulating the markets here at the moment. And it's just being left to go and continue to exist.
Everyone gets this wrong. They seem to think that they're safe because SEC or whatever, FinCEN, etc., haven't stepped in. They never do. Not that quickly. I mean, if you look, Liberty Reserve was eventually shut down, and it took longer than we've already had. The US government moves very slowly, and they grind very finely. They're a juggernaut, but they're a juggernaut that changes direction only after a long time. Yeah. But they will.
I think so too. It's just a matter of time. And then, a lot of these exchanges are going to disappear, I would say, because they don't have real banking.
If they're not a real exchange and they're just doing something like shape-shifting coin to coin, then they're a shit show who shouldn't exist.
Yeah. Is there anything that you're working on to kind of tackle them as well?
The exchanges?
No, the USDT.
Oh, yeah, but I won't go into that yet.
Right.
But I don't think there'll be a problem in between now and the next 2 years. If you've got a cent in Tether, you'll have, less than a cent in Tether.
Yep. Well, Jimmy is inside this meeting still at the moment, so I wonder what's going on there. But will you be giving any more kind of presentations at this event here?
No, I think it's a load of bullshit.
Cool.
Quite frankly, it's a load of people doing a circle jerk, standing around, wanting to feel special right at the moment. Bitcoin is competitive. It's not about a group of developers all talking to each other, holding each other's cocks in a circle and fucking jerking onto biscuits and eating them afterwards. I'm Australian, that's what circle jerk means, and that's what it is. Basically, at the end of the day, this is competitive. Bitcoin is not about distributed systems and everyone getting a damn vote. It was always going to end up in data centers. It is distributed to enable money. Bitcoin is money, stable money. The only reason to distribute Bitcoin was very simple, to keep it stable, to stop change. The thing that every single idiot developer keeps wanting to do. Bitcoin differs from things like fiat at scale because fiat changes. The amount of fiat, I mean, the US government in the crash printed $1 trillion. Not physically printed, but by making a magic little number appear on another computer, $1 trillion was made into existence. That's now devaluing the savings of every other person who had US dollars. It's adding debt to the currency. It basically is playing with the entire currency and manipulating things for short-term political gains. That's what Bitcoin is designed to stop. A stable currency that doesn't allow governments to just frick around with it anytime they wish. Because that's the problem. When we have a demagoguery where people can basically get up in arms about something different every 6 weeks and get people in government to start playing with and manipulating money, we don't have stable money anymore.
Well, the other great thing about Bitcoin, which I've come to understand, is that since it's pseudonymous instead of anonymous, then we can actually hold these governments accountable for their spending, and basically, they would have to disclose public addresses, public keys. So, and then, individuals are free to go on the Block Explorer and check out what they're doing and seeing where it's all going.
So it means black operations, illegal CIA things, they're all really hard to do now because there's actually a way of tracing. That's what Bitcoin enables. Freedom.
I think once more of the general population kind of understands that, they'd be more welcoming of this technology in our lives.
Yeah. As Judge Learned Hand said, the best answer to corruption is sunshine.
Great quote. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. So thank you very much for having a quick chat. And
you're welcome.
Go have a few whiskies or something back there, I reckon.
Not a problem.
All right.